What is up, everybody? We're back. I'm George Mossey. This is my co-host, Heather C. This is part 2 of the Unexpected Podcast, episode 5. So we're back to talk about Emerson. Emerson and Mason, more so Emerson, though. So she went to the midwife, and they suggested she get induced at 40 weeks, which I thought sounded completely normal because 40 weeks is full term, is how she said it. But her mom, Erica, thinks that she should have waited until she went into labor naturally. And apparently, when you get induced, there are complications that can take place. Like there's things where the baby could lose oxygen, or you would have to basically go into an emergency C-section, is what her mom said. And that's what she's worried about because her mom, Erica, will not be present during the labor. And this isn't actually a COVID issue this time. This is because her mom just had a baby. Her mom has to be at home with her baby. So she can't really do that. So Emerson feels like her mom wants her to be independent, but also wants to step in and micromanage her. Do you feel like that is? I feel like her mom wants her to make good decisions, but she also is her mom. So she also makes sure that the decisions that Emerson make are good. And if they aren't, she wants to step in. And it's kind of a fine line because when you tell your children, well, you need to do this on your own. And then when they try to do it on their own, you step in. It's a fine line. And sometimes they feel a little confused by that.
I feel like she has the best intentions, though. I mean, I think when you become a parent, the last thing you want to do is see your child fail. And since the parent has already lived that life, they were a baby, they were a teen, they were, an adult, they went through all of it. And the last thing you want to do is watch your children struggle or do something when you already know what the outcome is going to be. So it's like you kind of want to steer them in the right direction. But if you see that they're falling off track, you want to step in and be like, whoa, wait, do this instead. And yeah, it's micromanaging, but it's out of love and care because it's your child. You want what's best. I don't know if she would have fully been against it if maybe she would have knew why they wanted to induce her at 40 weeks, because she asked for a follow-up like, well, why? But her daughter couldn't produce the answer because teenagers not paying attention. So for all we know, they could have said, well, your baby is, getting bigger, there's not a lot of wiggle room, maybe we want to, we don't know. It could have been for anything, and she just didn't hear the reason. And because the mom didn't have a good enough reason, why take the bun out the oven if it's still cooking? I mean, I understand what she's saying, where she's like, let nature take a course. You're going to have the baby one way or another. It's going to come out. It's not going to stay in there forever. So why rush it? So there had to have been some type of reasoning as to why she suggested it. So maybe if they did like a follow-up like call and say, hey, how did that appointment go with my daughter? Because, she didn't give me any information. The other big thing that they're struggling with is letting her boyfriend stay in the room with her. We've seen that on several episodes now where, the daughter's very, adamant, like, come on, mom, come on. And, kudos to the mom for standing her ground. I'm going to give her props on this one, because even though I don't want to say the damage is done because it's a child and, whatever, but her biggest fear kind of came true. And, she is, having a baby and everything. There's nothing that you could do. It's kind of done and happened. I think she just doesn't want to condone that playing the house at such a young age, So I don't know. They need to come to some type of agreement.
Well, Emerson feels that she's going to win this battle, is what she told the interview last night. She was like, I'm going to win this battle. There's no way that she's going to win. I'm going to get what I want. And him sleeping in the same house is enough help. You don't have to sleep in the same bed to support each other. And I think that at their age, it's good to let them know, like, hey, when you're sleeping in another adult's home, you have to follow their rules. That's a good rule to raise your kids by. But he's going to be physically there, just on a pull-out couch downstairs. So I feel like the mom has done her part. She doesn't really have to compromise anymore from this part. But I just hope that Emerson and her mom don't clash too much on this issue, because their relationship is in a good place. And if she pushes this issue and sneaks him into his room, and that could be a recipe for ruining this close relationship her and her mom have gotten. So I'm really hoping that isn't what happened. All right, so let's talk about Tiara, Taylor, and Tyra, right? So
TTT.
Tiara and Taylor are spending a lot of time together because right now they are together in Kentucky, and we all know that Taylor will be going back to Maryland, and she will be giving birth to her child, that she will not be able to be there as much with her family. With 2 kids, one of them being a baby, you cannot travel that frequently. So their issue is Tyra's not spending any time with them. They have dates and play dates and things planned so the girls can be closer. Their children can be close. They can spend time together. And they feel like Tyra is spending too much time immersed in the Alex situation. And I do feel that they said this in a previous episode that when it comes to Alex, she will turn off her phone and she won't answer. And we saw in this episode, she was sending them both to voicemail when they called. They're not taking each other's calls. And I feel like it's important that you take care of your relationship and you do what's best for you, but you also should be available to your cousins, your friends, your best friends, and these are like sisters. So the idea that they're all together in the same state, in the same city, they could be spending time together and she's ignoring them both, it really sucks. I really feel that she should prioritize her time. Alex is important to her. Tiara is also important, and Taylor is also important. So prioritizing is very important. You can't just shut people out.
The only issue that I have with this is that I understand she's trying to save her relationship. Like, her and Alex have had a lot of, issues lately. But like you said, she does need to prioritize her time. But what is bad is that out of all the hurt that they've been through, and that maybe they said that Alex has caused her, your friends and your sister and your cousin and all that, they were there the whole time. When he hurt you, when he made you cry, when you thought, he was having a baby with somebody else, when y'all broke up, they were always there. They were always there. So it's like, it's almost like you're like, okay, I don't want to say use, but it's like, okay, you're going to use me, when it's convenient for you. But now that things are going for your favor, you suddenly forgot about me. And it's like, you have to have that happy medium, because if he's there all the way to the end, that's beautiful. And if he's not, and you guys separate again, then what? You push all the people that were there for you aside. What does that leave you with? And clearly they have a lot of working to do. Like, I could see how much love that she has for that boy, but he needs to soul search and be like, do I want to be with Tara? Do I want to figure out what's going on with this other girl? I mean, it's a mess. There's a lot of hurt going on that they need to fix, but she needs to be open-minded with her family.
Well, when he pops back in town and he reaches out to her, she jumps to go and meet with him, and she asked for an explanation, right? Anyone would want an explanation. As, hey, you got on a plane and you left and you went to see a girl and you were there and she reached out and told me she was pregnant. What's the explanation? And he didn't really give one. In so many words, he just said, oh, it was an impulse decision and it was stupid. He didn't really elaborate on what happened, why he did it, what he was feeling at the time. And I know guys don't really like to get into feelings, but when you do something so drastic, he and Tyra have a child together. They were living together. They were in a relationship together. When you do something like this, there's some kind of drive, emotion that brought you to do it. And he didn't really explain that. And I feel like until they can have those type of serious, deep conversations, this behavior, it'll never be explained. And until you understand why something happened, you can't prevent it or stop it from happening again. And I feel like Tyra's not asking the right questions and she's not demanding the right explanations. She's just ready to jump back in because of the love she has for him. This is her person. She feels like this is her soulmate. This is who she's supposed to be with. And it might be true. And it might just be that Alex is just not ready to be that serious with her. But obviously he made it back to Kentucky. He made it back to her. They're talking. They're working it out. So it could be that they're both meant to be together. Just there's work, like you said, that needs to be done. And if they can get that work done and make it work, that's what we're waiting to see.
Exactly. I wish them the best.
I do too. I always like them together. So we're hoping that work it out. And he didn't really say if the girl was pregnant or not. She kind of asked and he just said, it was a bad situation. And so we're just gonna have to keep watching. So it took 5 episodes for Alex to come back. So now we're still have like 10 questions left. So hopefully next week we'll find out a little more. We'll also see what's going on with Jenna and Aiden. All right, guys, that's it for part 2. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm George Mossey. This is my co-host, Heather C. This is the Unexpected Podcast. We're on season 3, episode 5. Make sure you're live tuning with us every Sunday night. We will talk to you all really soon.
Bye.